All right, today we are going to tie a parachute rainbow warrior. It's going to be another dry fly that we're taking popular nymph pattern and we're going to see how it works as a dry fly. So if you like fishing dry flies, give this video a like. Let us know your favorite dry fly. What is that confidence pattern for you? And let's get started. We have a Firehole Sticks. This is a 419 in size 14 in the vise. Obviously, you can tie this in a lot of sizes. Size 14 shows up really good on the videos. So, a lot of thread out there. Let's not waste this much thread. Okay. I always like starting my thread about a third of the way back. For me, that's about where I'm going to end up putting my post. So it kind of gives me a point on this fly, a reference point of where I don't want to go forward of while I'm here kind of tying in my tail. So I really like using that. Like when you put your thread on your fly, for most flies, make sure you're doing it with a purpose. So Rainbow Warrior, its tail is going to be pheasant tail. So here, I like to get three or four fibers. You don't need a huge tail. I'm kind of lined up. And a little bit too far down the bend of the hook. We don't want to try to keep these nice and on top. I typically like that. That's way too long. I like a couple loose wraps. And I can just pull my tail to the length I like. Just about right there. So I can then get those securing wraps in there. And this is where, I know I'm almost to the front of that tie-in point, so I know to turn back around. The body of this fly, body of the Rainbow Warrior, is Pearlescent Tinsel. I guess I should mention this is Veevus 10-aught thread in red. I just get some tinsel. I like having it to where the tinsel curves down. Tie it in so that the curve goes down. If you tie it in with the curve going up, the material really likes to get in your way. Sure. Now that we have the body there, I like to get my post in before I wrap the body. I can get my post in, wrap the body up to the post. Do a rough trim on that. Kind of helps keep things under control. And yeah, parachute posts can sometimes be annoying because you can't get. I like to every so often when I'm grabbing, that's when I kind of give some good tension to tighten things up. Because like right now, when you're not actively grabbing that parachute post, you're not going to be able to really tighten your thread. Lock everything down with thread wraps around down at the base, and that will lock everything in. Forgot to grab my hackle. Grab that and size it. For this fly, for size 14 and this one, I'm really thinking that one, this with the colors on this fly, I'm really thinking that the brown and grizzly combination is kind of what I'm going to go for. It gives a nice, if it was just brown, it's a little bit too dark, and I like that when you're doing more like a purple haze or more of a dark bodied parachute. This is going to be very bright. So having that grizzly in there, I think is going to help keep the wing bright. All right, those two are there. I think before I get those tied in, it'll be easier to wrap this body. So this, the large size Tinsel really wraps a lot easier than some things. Going with a small, like when like in other flies I've tied with, well, even like some perdigones or the lightning bug nymph. If you're using that really thin scissors, there you go, a really thin flash material, it can just be a little bit more, well, it takes a lot more wraps to get it get it tied down. All right, let's get these hackles tied in. They're just dry fly hackles, nothing crazy. They're just from a whiting intro pack. So these aren't some special super special hackle. I'm sure something like a dark barred ginger would be great on this. We'll see. Hopefully I can get get a dark barred ginger soon. I think that color would probably be amazing on so many of the dry flies in all reality. Okay, we got that hackle on there nicely. It's ready to go around. Trim those butt sections off. And we'll just tighten those down. I like to come in here because the original Rainbow Warrior does have a red hotspot collar. So get a little bit of thread up there by the hook eye. Rainbow Warrior is Rainbow Style Scud dubbing from Wapsi. The Wapsi stuff is the stuff that you need to use for Rainbow Warrior. It's not for a lot of things. Doesn't really matter. You can kind of use whatever dubbing brand or whatever that you want. But with the Rainbow Warrior, it really is. You have to really need to use this dubbing. We're just going to get this tied in here. Nice buggy thorax. Maybe has a little bit more of a thread collar than I would like. So we'll just come in here and get that. Oh, just a little bit of lightly cut this thread just to cover that right there where I brought that thread back. Okay. You can leave it as buggy or not as buggy as you like. Now we're going to just crease these so we can get some good wraps. That is probably doing it. Try not to grab any hackles I always get. Seems like I always grab someone over here while I'm trying to avoid my fingers. There we go. That is tied in nice and securely there. Just come in close. Trim those butts out. Here's where I also like to trim my post to the height that I want it. Stray fibers there from that dubbing. And here's where you can whip finish this or finish this fly off however you like. The super glue method, a little super glue on your bodkin, rub that in on those thread wraps. Takes care of things. Or UV resin, same way. Or you can come in here, I can avoid everything, and you can pretty easily sneak a whip finish in here without disturbing too many hackle fibers. Looks like I got one right there that really doesn't want to do what it's supposed to, but that's fine. Trim one fiber out is not that big of a deal. So pull that thread tight. Trim that thread off close. That one fiber. This one too, you can come in here like this to be not as buggy. But there is a rainbow warrior, a parachute rainbow warrior. If you like fishing dry flies, give this video a like. Let us know what your favorite dry fly is. Maybe tie some of these up, try them out. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.